Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. And okay, before I get, because I always forget, so if you enjoy any of the things I talk about, because I spill the tea, I talk current events, tons of politics, a lot of topics that men hate to talk about with women. So yeah, I'm petty. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway, and also dating nightmares. I just started my Patreon and I have so many, since November of 2022, I I had to create a list of standards because after breaking up with Mr. No Heart, an absolutely horrible relationship, but a relationship where he always took advantage of me, etc., etc. Go listen. I have tons of videos about him. Listen to the oil change and the pancake episode. Those are two great examples. But I'm going to be starting a series of the over 40 reasons why I broke up with Mr. No Heart. So check that out. But yeah, I talk a whole lot about even Reddit. I haven't done Reddit in so long, but then I'm going to be covering more crime, cold cases, and just basically anything to do with African American, people of color, women, LGBTQ, disability, and the unfairness that we have to subdue because America is America. Yeah. And so, if you like to hear my real life stories and read my real life messages that I get on dating apps, especially when men call me the N word and a slave and the B word, C word, P word, and tell me that I should off myself and they call me garbage, and all because either I won't date a Republican, a MAGA, or 45, 47 lover, whatever. I'm not going, men keep telling me, well, the men that you don't want, they'll probably like you. They'll probably do with you. They'll probably deal with you. And etc. Like they've said in so many different ways. And it's like, if I'm not compatible, the country is already trying to make it harder to get divorced. I'm at the point where I'm never going to get married, and it's like, by chance, if I ever do, it's going to be a prenup. And part of me feels like I want to write my governor and ask her, can she make it a law to have a prenup? And I mean, this is going to be another episode, but yeah, I've been thinking about it. And so I'm going to be drafting, because I've already written President Biden. I'm never going to write this one. No, 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 no. He doesn't care about what a black woman with a disability has to say. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to keep voicing my opinion and basically telling you guys stories that help you realize the naiveness, the ignorance, stupidity, because he loves the poorly educated. And so the poorly educated people are cheering on certain things, where that leads me to this episode. DEI. It's so crazy. So many people wanted to do away with DEI because they thought that it only helped black people and people of color. They always kept saying that you shouldn't be hired based off of your skin. And it's like, it should be merit or education, when African American women are the most educated demographic in this country. But, and I don't do it in order, but I know I have up a couple videos where I tell you about some of the job interviews that I've been to, and how, especially when I was applying for a marketing position at one either medical or dentist office or whatever. Went up to the front desk and the receptionist literally asked me if I was, she was like, oh, you must be applying for the janitor position or whatever. And I'm just like, no, marketing position. But yeah, go listen to that episode. And it's like, there's so much racism that I have faced in the workforce. But then when I try to tell people, including my ex-boyfriend's mother, she just tells me just tons of garbage, especially when a police officer followed me for 15 to 20 minutes and then pulled me over in my driveway after I opened the garage door. And then he kept quizzing me on where I live, why I'm here, and and then all of a sudden he had the nerve to say, well, you don't look like you live here. And then he made up a reason why he pulled me over, because he said my brake lights weren't working when got an oil change. Like, I already told that story on another episode too, but yeah, I tell the whole story. It's like I have faced so much racism when people have the nerve, the gall, the stupidity, the uneducatedness, to the naiveness, ignorance, like, so, like, to tell me that there is no more racism. How come? Like, I already told you about when Mr. Snodgrass grandfather at a birthday party, I was invited, and like the mom adores me. Other family members think I'm really cool. Some even invited me to go shopping with them, go to lunch and everything like that. But with grandpa, his response was, "You found an amazing black woman, but why can't you settle with a decent white one?" And that's how some of these jobs are. Because even on Facebook, oh, I got screenshots off of Facebook because the ignorant, naive, no good, bigoted, racist people, they are celebrating this. And people are saying, Black people didn't deserve the job anyway. It's like they just got the job out of pity. Why would you just want the job out of pity? Wouldn't you want it because you worked for it? But they don't understand, and they don't know how a lot of Black women, especially like myself, I'm going to say Black women because since I am a Black woman and I live this, and I know from many, several, so many, too many examples of having first my bachelor's with a double minor. They said that I didn't have the work experience, even though I was working while in school. It wasn't like crazy amount, but I was working. But I was like, okay, fine. I got my master's and I started working. Like, I worked at the zoo, which that was just to try to at least get some work experience and get my name, like some stuff on my resume. Then I started doing promotional modeling. Then I had my master's. Next thing I know, oh, now you're overqualified. I'm like, what? Okay, now I have my master's and I have some work experience, but now you're saying I'm overqualified. But then I wanted to have my MBA as well. But it was to a point where I had to have 3 to 5 different versions of my resume at the same time, one with just my bachelor's and double minor, and then sometimes with just my major, and I took off my minor, and then I had one of my masters, and then, oh, I have 3 certifications. So it's like, you do not know how many times I, like, with a job position, I would have to be like, okay, how am I going to decorate this resume for this job? And then I would literally have to print that copy and write the name of that job on it, so then when they, like, if they call for an interview, I can study my resume so I can know which ones I put on my resume, because a lot of times they say you're overqualified. Why would you want to work here? Why did you like, you're our most qualified candidate. Why won't a company want the most qualified candidate? Do you know how many times I was told I was the most qualified candidate? But then either they would talk about, I didn't think you would talk like this. Where's your accent from? Where are you from? Are one of your parents white? I've had these questions asked in quite a few interviews. And then my disability. Why do you walk like that? Is that permanent? Are you going to get that fixed? Did you get hit by a car? It's like, is this permanent? Really? It's like, can you find a doctor that can give you the proper, like, medication? Is there a counselor that can help you learn how to walk correctly? It's like, are you sure you just can't get a chiropractor to crack it back into place? It's like, there must be something you can get done. And I've had so many other. I'm gonna do a whole episode. It's like, actually, I did a recording, which is gonna be up in a day or two. I don't know when, but it's gonna, like, my YouTube channel is as messy as my life, so sometimes I end up recording 3 or 4 episodes all at once, and then this morning I woke up, got on, I saw something on Facebook, and then I saw the disgusting, racist, bigoted, no good, arrogant, ignorant, poorly educated people celebrating and talking about how Black people only get jobs out of pity and stuff like that. And it's just like, but now I'm seeing these videos, and I've seen a few videos, but it's crazy how in this video, in this video, there is a woman who is a vet, And she has so much empathy and so much sympathy for people that are veterans. And she's talking about how this is going to mess them up and the unfairness, and how, like, even when she worked for Meta, how she learned how a company can make sure they don't hire a certain group, how they can make sure they don't hire a certain group. But let's switch veterans for any other group: LGBTQ, Black, Asian, Hispanic, any of the other groups, especially disability. Because there are so many jobs. When I went to the job interview over the phone, they were so impressed with me. They wanted to talk to me so much. They were even telling me about their marriages, their relationships, their kids, their family situations, their travel thing. But then they saw me face to face. Yeah, they were like, surprise, I'm Black. But now you see a lot of the European Americans now. Oh, they're talking about the need for DEI because they're realizing it doesn't just help Black people. They didn't care when it hurt us. They don't care when it hurts us. They want it to hurt us, because they don't like when they see us working our tushes off. They don't like when we are determined and we get the education and we get the experience and we do anything and everything that we can possibly do. And sometimes for some jobs, we have to not only be twice as capable, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times. And that's why sometimes when I go into job interviews and I give them my resume and we start talking about, like, either my experience or my interests and things like that, it's like I've learned I had to tone it down. Because, like, when it comes to especially marketing, advertising, being creative and things like that, I love it. It's my passion. And that's one reason why now it's like I have my children's books self-published. When people see my products, when people see my products, people always ask me who helped me. Or people always ask me, who did this? Who's your publisher? When I tell them I'm my own publisher, when I tell them I did it all by myself, I can't draw, so I hired my illustrator. But even with my illustrator, I created art boards. I wrote descriptions. Like, sometimes when she gives it back and I have to look and observe and see everything that she's drawn, and sometimes I have to, like, create circles and arrows of, can you do this? Can you fix this? Can you change this color? Can you do this? Oh, like, with this, I was thinking more of, like, this era. And like, there's even times where I'm looking up things in history to try to, like, because, like, with my Princess London series, yes, like, there's a contraption, everything. So trying to just describe it, that took like 5 or 6 different attempts or whatever. But it's just crazy how so many people think Black women are not capable, we're not able, and that the only reasons we get these jobs is because it's pity, and that we don't really deserve it. How many job interviews I've went to, and then I'm talking to other people who have less experience, less education, but then they get the job. And then at job interviews, they keep saying I'm the most qualified. And I'm like, I keep going to job interviews and they keep saying I'm the most qualified, but none of them want me. And some of you guys, especially the bigot people, you guys are going to celebrate that. You're going to celebrate it because you love it. You don't want me, like, even though I just like anybody and everybody else, I've worked for it. I earned it. And this is why a lot of men, they can't stand dating me. And that's one reason why it's like I say I'm never going to get married. Because even dating wise, Mr. Lockakey, it's like, oh my gosh, I was working on my second, like, he loved bombed me at first and it's like, that's don't, like, he blackmailed me to date him. And I wanted nothing to do with him, especially when I found out he was lying to me or whatever. But that, listen to the episodes, I talk all about that. Listen to the breadstick episodes, especially, that's him. And whenever you hear Mr. Lockakey, it's him. But he, when I was over halfway done with my MBA, he would start threatening to punch holes in the walls for me to leave the house with him, even though he knew I need to study, even though he knew I need to get ready for a test. He didn't want me to, like, because, oh, when he got stuck on his special candy, he would start telling his friends stuff, and his friends would come and tell me he doesn't want you to finish. He's trying to make sure you don't graduate. You need so you like so I had to start going to McDonald's and Subways and different places to do my homework. I would have to hide out to do my homework because he was trying to stop me. And then after I was like, oh, I could not wait to break up with him. So I broke up with him like right after I graduated. Yes, I finished. Yeah. Two masters, bachelor's with a double minor, three certifications. I did it, baby. Yep. So anyway, I met Mr. No Heart, and at first it's like he knows I'm a sapiosexual or whatever. So it's like he pretended that he was too, and but then after 6 months to a year, he took that mask off. He didn't want to deal with it, like unless it's something he wanted, unless it was something he wanted to talk about or whatever. Because even with YouTube, it's like I would be at his house and he would be watching. I was like, oh, can we watch this? I found out about this video and blah blah blah. He was like, oh, it's my computer. We'll watch what I want to watch. Okay. And then with my poetry, I remember while I was at my university, my major was in English, and so I took poetry classes. I love writing poetry. I've won a couple of awards from writing my poetry, and I showed him one because I was like, I thought, he's my boyfriend. I want to show him some of the things that I love doing. Yeah, I found it in the trash, but I tell that whole story in an episode as well. And then it's just when I wrote my novel, I talk about this quite a few times, but he told me, like, I was done writing it. I was so excited, so happy. Even his oldest daughter read a chapter or two of it, and she was just like, this is really good. And she was giving me props and stuff like that. And I was getting props from a lot of people. And I'm going to be publishing this book finally this year, but just know that one novel now turned into three novels. So yeah, it for one novel, yes, took me forever. But I shouldn't say that because I know for some people, it's like, especially when they have kids and everything like that. And with my disability and the pain and surgeries and everything like that. So I have to give myself a little bit more credit. But my one novel is now three, and now it's going to be a full on series. So I'm really excited about that. But he told me the only way he's going to read it is if I actually publish it. And when I broke up with him after the way he treated me worse than garbage. All of a sudden, oh, I'll read your novel. I'll read it then. Because he knew he was hurting me. He enjoyed hurting me. And anyway, like I tolerated, because he always wanted to see how much pain I would tolerate. He always wanted to see how much he could hurt me. I guess because his ex-wife cheated on him and everything within a year. But it's like after the way I see how he treats women, I'm like, I can't blame her. But anyway, I've worked hard and I'm publishing my books, self-publishing my books. I'm hiring editors and the illustrators, and right now I'm working on ideas for the cover of my books. I'm working on products to put on my Etsy store. I try to post a new YouTube episode every day. So when people try to say people with disabilities don't want to work, they're highly uneducated, naive, ignorant, and ableist, bigoted, all of that. A mixture of all. And so don't say we don't want to. I would love to get like a traditional, and it's like I do work somewhat traditional. It's like adjunct professor and everything like that, but they don't even treat me right. So yeah, that's a long story. I'll tell it within a year or two. But they don't even treat me right. And the staff there, yeah. Anyway. So when people try to say DEI, they're so happy it's over, but now a lot of European American women are uh getting rid of. Yeah, their jobs are kind of giving them the boot. Yeah, a lot of veteran, like, it's like now everyone is having pity for all of the other groups, but you don't like they don't care about people of color. But it's like, oh, we have to stick together, veterans. We have to stick together, European American women. And it's like, this shocked me. I can't believe it. It's like, now it's like, I don't know what to do next and all of this other stuff. And it's just like, hmm, even though you're going through this right now, you don't see it in the eyes of people who either have to shorten their name, change their name on their resume. When they go to the job interview, they have to make sure they look like just first class all the way from head to toe. They can't misstep, misspeak, or anything like that because we are stereotyped, we are misjudged. And it's like they don't have empathy for it. Like, and that's the crazy part. When it comes to DEI, people of color, we're at the bottom of the scale when it comes to the levels of DEI. Veterans are before us. And disability is before too, even though they still refuse to give me a job because they tell me I need to get fixed in order to work for them because then I'll be a distraction for the clients. I've literally had so many companies tell me that I would be a distraction. And or they told, like, one guy, they had stairs. It's like, and the thing is, I could still kind of walk, but I was in pain, but I walked. And the thing is, like, if I spent all this time, I filled out your applications, I went through 2, 3, 4 interviews, and now I'm with you face to face. You think I'm not willing to do the job, but I did all this work just to get to your interviews, and to, like, you say you're so impressed with my work, and then during the interviews I give out ideas, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that's really smart, that's brilliant. And sometimes I see you guys right, like, even with one of my ideas, it's like all of a sudden you like you're writing notes about the interview on one, but then you're taking out another like notebook or piece of paper for what I just said. So I'm like, if you use my idea, you better pay me for that idea. And that's one reason why I no longer talk about, because I study the business before I go for the interviews. And even when I did promotional modeling, it was frustrating because I get secret shops. I got almost every single one of my secret shops. And that's with a learning disability. I would study and learn as much as I could. But the thing is, like, especially if it wasn't, since it's only for promotions for that, like once that job is done, I have to get ready for the next one, and I don't remember the like that one at, like, especially an alcohol promo or whatever. And like some of the toy ones, I like, for some reason, like, I had fun, so sometimes I remember that stuff. But it's like I don't drink, so, but I still remember at one bar, it's like there was one girl who all she does is overbook herself, and she always called me with her leftovers. And so, and she gave it to me the day of. So I'm literally in the car trying to study the information or whatever. I get into the bar to do it. And then the guy tells me he wants me to go in the back room with him because he mentions how large my behind is and he would love to dot, dot, dot. And but then he refused to sign my paperwork because I refused him. But then when the company, like, cause, and then during the promo, he told me, don't say all this garbage. Oh, they don't want to hear about it. They don't care about the facts of the alcohol. Just give them more. Just do this. And he followed me almost the entire time. But whenever I would say, oh yeah, and this would go, oh, they don't care about that, and he would tell me to stop. But then next thing I know, the company would call me and tell me that I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And I'm just like, he told me not to. Well, why in the world would he tell you not? Like, and so yeah, that was the only time I did not pass a secret shop. And it frustrates me because that guy in Livonia, he knows what he did. And he knows how he tried to tell me to go into his back room. He knows it. I will never forget his face either. But anyway, it's like you guys don't know what some people go through while trying to work, applying for work and everything like that. DEI is not just for pity. Some of us work our tushes off. Some of us do anything and everything we can. I got the education, I got the work experience, but still no one wants me. So I'm doing work, but then it's like even now I do work on my own. I'm trying to get my own business started because no one else wants me. But then it's like even trying to, like, get help or assistance in ways because it's just frustrating. Because now even like kind of dating wise, because I kind of gave up, but I'm still like I still want to talk to people, go to lunch with people, but now when people look me up, it's crazy because some men are like, "Oh, you publish books? Why are you wasting your time doing that? Oh, so you call this work? Oh, anybody can write a story. Why are you doing this?" Or they listen to my YouTube channel and they try to judge me, and it's just to a point where, or they say, well, you know what? Let me start giving you ideas because maybe you need a white guy on it for their perspective because you're talking about it in a person of color point of view, but it's like a lot of people don't care. Like, yeah, he got blocked that night. Or I think I waited until I knew he was asleep and blocked him. But yeah, it's like especially a lot of European American men try to tell me either how to write my books or how they could do it better, or even though they have no idea, and most of them don't even have a higher education, a trade certification, or anything like that. But then they're trying to tell me how to do something. But so then I would start asking them questions. And then they don't even know how to answer any of them. Or they would say, oh, well, I can Google that. I can Google that. Like, but you're trying to tell me how to do something you can't even, like, no, I'm good. I'm good. But anyways, I'm just at a point where this is America. We are surrounded by racism, bigotry. And I'm probably going to do another part with this topic with this sample video because listening to especially the two European American women, and they're just so in shock. They're so, like, they thought it was just going to be people of color and black people. And a lot of people don't care or mind if it's just us. Even though black women for years, even with the college admissions, we were telling people white women benefit from it the most. And they kept saying we were lying. They kept saying, like, ha 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 ha. But all the facts are coming out. They're just like, oh, oops. And we're just like, yeah, I'm going to just grab some popcorn because you guys are idiots. But now with DEI, again, they are the ones that benefited from it the most. From it the most. But they have no empathy for us still. They don't care if we get punished for something, even though a lot of us have worked, like, it's not just out of pity. We deserve a chance. And some of us have had to fight and fight. It's like it's an endless war trying to get into the work field because so many people judge us or they don't want to be bothered with either someone with a disability or a woman or a person of color or a black woman. They don't want anything to do with me. They don't. And they'll make up another reason so that I can't sue. A lot of companies are creative and they'll say anything and everything. But this is America. But America is so highly uneducated. They're ignorant. They're naive. They're just, we're surrounded by a lot of bigoted opinions. They might not be bigots, but they have bigoted opinions because of the miseducation and the poor understanding of others. It's like they grew up just thinking that black people don't work, they don't want to, and that everything they get is out of pity, that they don't deserve anything. It's just ridiculous and annoying. It's a little frustrating, but now that some people are learning the hard way with DEI, I'm just like, you know what? It's a it's such a struggle with me. But while I'm struggling, let me get some popcorn. Let me watch how other people are going to now witness. Because now they're going to say that they deserve the job. Now they're going to say how it wasn't based off of. We're going to keep hearing how it's not just based off of This is the handicapable Black woman. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too. If you want that job, do what you have to do. It's like, just don't allow anybody to tell you that it was just out of pity. If you know the work you put in it, just do such an amazing job where it shuts them